Our once great cities have become unlivable, unsanitary nightmares, surrendered to the homeless, the drug addicted, and the violent and dangerously deranged. We're making many suffer for the whims of a deeply unwell few, and they are unwell indeed. The homeless have no right to turn every park and sidewalk into a place for them to squat and do drugs. Americans should not have to step over piles of needles and waste as they walk down a street in a beautiful city, or at least once beautiful city, because they've changed so much over the last 10 years. Our first consideration should be the rights and safety of the hardworking, law-abiding citizens who make our society function. When I'm back in the White House, we will use every tool, lever, and authority to get the homeless off our streets. We want to take care of them, but they have to be off our streets. There is nothing compassionate about letting these individuals live in filth and squalor rather than getting them the help that they need. We need professionals to help them. For a small fraction of what we spend upon Ukraine, we could take care of every homeless veteran in America. Our veterans are being treated horribly. Likewise, with all of the money we will save by ending mass unskilled migration, we will have a huge dividend to address this crisis in our own country. Under my strategy, working with states, we will ban urban camping wherever possible. Violators of these bans will be arrested, but they will be given the option to accept treatment and services if they're willing to be rehabilitated. Many of them don't want that, but we'll give them the option. We will then open up large parcels of inexpensive land, bring in doctors, psychiatrists, social workers, and drug rehab specialists, and create 10 cities where the homeless can be relocated and their problems identified. But we'll open up our cities again, make them livable, and make them beautiful. For those who are just temporarily down on their luck, we will work to help them quickly reintegrate into a normal life. For those who have addictions, substance abuse, and common mental health problems, we will get them into treatment. And for those who are severely mentally ill and deeply disturbed, we will bring them back to mental institutions where they belong, with the goal of reintegrating them back into society once they are well enough to manage. It's a tough task, a very tough task. What's taken place on the streets, what's taken place with their taking so much drugs. But the fact is, we're going to try. This strategy will be far better and also far less expensive than spending vast sums of taxpayer money to house the homeless in luxury hotels without addressing their underlying issues, and they have so many of these underlying issues and needs. This is how I will end the scourge of homelessness and make our cities clean and safe and beautiful once again. We will do it. We will bring back America. Thank you.
Why open up with the T-Man talking about how to solve the homeless problem? And on top of that, use video from the movie They Live. On the surface, what the T-Man says sounds good. However, as with anything, never take it at face value. Question everything. Everything the controllers set up comes in stages and always has a larger goal. The right and left work together. The people that rule over us create a problem and then come in as a savior. Never let a crisis go to waste. Homelessness is one crisis set up so that it can be solved later. With ulterior motives, of course. While a large number of homeless have drug or mental problems, there is another group rising among them. Many are now going homeless because of economic reasons. They can't afford rent or a mortgage anymore. The collapse of the dollar is imminent. More people will lose their jobs and their homes. Since the 2000s, every U.S. administration has spent trillions without a care. On the right or left. No more excuses for them. The lockdowns during the biological event helped set the stage for the acceleration of our economic demise. It's all by design. People will be coerced into the new blockchain digital currency system by a multitude of crises. The four horsemen: pestilence, famine, war, and death. So back to the T-Man's proposal. Setting up medical camps outside the cities sounds like concentration camps. He says the homeless will get medical help, but does that really mean they will just become medical experiments? The subject of mental illness is brought up by both the right and left. The right side generally associates it with the subjects of gun control or drug abuse, other subjects as well. But do these Republicans or Democrats really care about mental health, or is it a means to an end? Many people will stick with their favorite sources for information. I do the same. However, it's good to check out other sources too. I happen to come across the subject of Tartaria. This subject gets into alternative history. Unfortunately, the people looking into this subject take it in some weird New Age direction. They do a good job of historical digging though, and not just from the internet, but physically going to certain areas. In a part of that historical research, they question the purpose of mental institutions from the 1800s. I will play a clip from one of their videos. This is from the Mind Unveiled channel on YouTube.
I mean, just look at this logbook of the West Virginia Hospital for the Insane. This list documents reasons for admission to the institution. I mean, these guys weren't playing around. So these are pretty crazy. If you ran out of money and became homeless, got business trouble, if you got kicked in the head by a horse, I guess that was common back then, imaginary female trouble, an immoral life, not sure what that's supposed to mean, imprisonment, okay, that's kind of scary. If you had your own religious beliefs, or if you were a woman with her own beliefs, that would get you sent to an asylum. Let's see. Bad whiskey, okay. These institutions don't really care about your health. They were designed for that purpose. These facilities are tools of the state to control a society based on what the controllers deem appropriate. If you overstudied religion, that would get you sent to the institution. Overtaxing mental powers, so if you were too smart, they would get you. Oh, and look, you can get sent in for politics, right? How convenient. I mean, this is a super long list. I'm not going to go over it all, read it over, but it's just insane. I mean, egotism, how do we even measure that? If someone acts arrogant, they just get thrown into a lunatic asylum? I mean, this kind of became a meme because of some of the weirder, funnier ones, but they would basically throw you into an asylum for any reason that they wanted. It could be any reason. They would just throw you in if you were a problem.
What I've come to realize is that this is not the first reset the world has been through. The rulers of this world have done this before. Some people may have heard of our current reset by now. Anyone who does not go along with the new system will be left behind, as Klaus Schwab stated. Many people will go along with this new system though. Many people have been given a false interpretation of current events. No doubt they will be given a false history of these current events also. Many will worship the beast. Here is something else I expect to happen in the coming years. I expect there to be a mind wipe of sorts, meaning people will begin to forget things. This will be induced. After all, the rulers of this world don't want people to remember what happened to them. This will help the controllers' ability to rewrite history however they see fit. Easy to do when the books are being digitized. There is a reason why Amazon uses the terms Kindle and Fire for a couple of their digital devices. Some people will remember this reset though, just like people did in the 1800s. Those that remembered were rounded up and put into mental institutions. Today, they will likely be medical camps. We can see this being set up today. History doesn't repeat, but it certainly does rhyme, as Mark Twain stated. For those who understand something about predictive programming can see the subject of memory erasure in the entertainment industry. One example seems to come from a test run that was done during a Taylor Swift concert. This from her Eras tour. People who went to her concert forgot what happened. Was this done through frequencies? And if you don't think Taylor Swift has sold her soul already, too bad, so sad for you. Anyone who doesn't go along with the new system will be considered mentally ill. Anyway, I have already gone on for too long in this video. Thanks for watching.